Under the northern lights in Stockholm, AI finds itself at the heart of the Nobel Prizes this year. Does that shift what we expect from science?
Today is May 18th, 2025. Let's dive in. For the first time, researchers in artificial intelligence have won Nobel Prizes in both physics and chemistry. How did we end up here?
It's a pretty significant step. John Hopfield and Geoffrey Hinton were awarded the Nobel in Physics for their early work on neural networks, work from decades ago that's now behind things like medical imaging and self-driving cars. At the same time, Demis Hassabis and John Jumper received half the chemistry prize for using AI, specifically AlphaFold, to finally solve the protein folding problem. That challenge had been puzzling biologists for 50 years.
Let's unpack that a bit. Hopfield's associative memory networks, those came out in the 1980s, right? They could store and reconstruct patterns, similar to how our brains remember faces or scents. Why was that such a big deal for AI?
Because it showed you could build networks that not only process information, but actually recall it, even if the input was noisy or partial. That's foundational for memory in AI. And then Hinton's Boltzmann machine let computers learn to spot patterns on their own, which is really at the heart of deep learning. Without those models, we wouldn't have modern image recognition or speech-to-text systems.
And in chemistry, AlphaFold changed the game, predicting protein structures from genetic code. Why is that so important?
Proteins are the machinery inside every cell. Knowing their three-dimensional shapes helps us understand diseases, design new medicines, even create proteins from scratch for medical use. Before AlphaFold, mapping a single protein could take years of lab work. Now, AI can model thousands in a fraction of that time.
So this is already speeding up drug discovery? How does the AI actually accelerate things?
It really changes the landscape. AI models predict how molecules might interact, simulate virtual drug trials, and flag promising compounds before anyone has to run experiments in a lab. That means development can move faster and potentially at lower cost.
And there's the genetics angle too. AI is making gene editing more precise. Tools like CRISPR are getting better. Does this mean we're close to truly personalized medicine?
That's the direction things are heading. AI can help design gene editors or DNA switches that target exactly the right cells. So it's not just editing genes, but also deciding when and how they're turned on. That opens up the possibility of treatments tailored to someone's unique biology.
But there are risks. What about privacy for patients? And how do we make sure these AI systems are used safely in hospitals?
That's critical. Patient data must be protected, and AI should work alongside physicians, not take their place. Plus, there's the challenge of making these tools accessible, not just in wealthy countries, but worldwide.
So it's not just about technology, but also ethics and fairness. Are there efforts toward global standards or making these advances open access?
Some, yes. There are calls for international policies that support open datasets and partnerships aiming to bring AI tools to lower-income regions. Still, it's far from solved. This Nobel spotlight really highlights the need for equity as AI progresses.
If we take a step back, the Nobel Committee's decision, does it mark a turning point for how AI is seen in science?
I think so. AI isn't just a tool anymore. It's a driving force. The Nobel Committee is saying AI is central to big scientific breakthroughs, but that also means we need to use it responsibly.
And there's that line from Professor Tom Missick-Flogel. Artificial neural networks were inspired by studying the brain. Now we're using them to understand biology itself. Do you think science has come full circle?
It's a fitting way to put it. What began as an attempt to copy the brain is now helping us decode life at the molecular level. It's a feedback loop that nobody really saw coming a generation ago.
So, the 2024 Nobel Prizes might be remembered as the moment AI's potential became clear and its responsibilities couldn't be ignored.
Right. Thanks for joining us as we explored this pivotal moment in science and technology.
We'll be back soon with more discussions on how breakthroughs shape the world. Thanks for listening.